I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Raka Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa above all. So this article I came across this morning, I went back to try to find it and I couldn't, but the Spirit had me take a picture. You can see the date, January 25th, which is today, 2026, the year of apostasy and Jacob's trouble. All right, and I took it at 6:34 a.m. when I was going through the news reports of the morning, and I came across this, and it stood out to me. It says 33-year-old, which we know 33 is the number of the 1/3 that are going to be saved with the elect of the nation of Israel. 33%, and then 66% are going to be destroyed. The 2/3 here in America, talking about the Israelites. The Israelites could look like any nation, but the prophecies start in these last days with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians of North America, Central America, South America, and the Caribbeans, which been scattered throughout the world in slavery according to the prophecy. But once again, being scattered throughout the world for many generations, all right, we had suffered confusion of face where we look like the other nations, all right. But the Lord, Yahweh, which he gave us his word, which speaks of his son, Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai is the word of Yahweh made flesh, and he's coming back to save us. This is the promise given to the Israelites. All right. It says 33-year-old woman quits job to become trad wife, which means traditional wife, to serve a man. This woman realized that there was nothing good or valuable in holding a job or a profession, which they took away your professions. All right, this year, 2026, they said your degrees in colleges, certain degrees were no longer considered professional, which these aren't small degrees. Some of these degrees that these women hold, they got PhDs, masters, which take a lot of years to get. So these women are waking up to there's no power in holding a job and pretty much being an independent woman. 33-year-old woman quits job to become traditional wife without informing her husband first. Now he's threatening divorce because they pretty much depended on that money. I don't think it makes sense for our current family situation. All right. But really, the woman is in the right spirit of, contracting, because the serpent, the so-called white man, is expanding. And he's that serpent, all right? And right now he's out causing problems in the streets and in the world. And the best thing for the women is to find a man, okay? Because their salvation comes through man. And salvation is only for the Israelites, but even survival for a woman is through a man. Isaiah 32:2, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So the Israelite women that are ordained to be saved, all right, they're going to be saved through being with a man, an Israelite man of the Lord. Let's see, it's 1 Timothy 2, verse 15. Notwithstanding, meaning you understand this, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. So childbearing is being a woman serving a man comfort, all right? If they continue in faith, they got to be Israelites. Salvation is only for the Israelites. And the Israelites look like all the other nations. The thing that sets us apart from the other nations is we have faith. We're hoping in the words of Yahweh, the Holy Scriptures, to be true, which we have a sure word of prophecy. Look at history. And charity, which we're coming into a time where a man is going to have more than one wife. So she's going to have to be charitable and holiness, set apart. To be that wife, you have to be set apart with sobriety, all right? Meaning you're not supposed to be a drunk whore, all right? You're not supposed to have weekends with the friends. You're not supposed to gather abroad, all right? You're supposed to be at home serving your man, whether it's food, whether it's clean laundry, whether it's clean dishes, whether it's clean box, all right? Whatever it is that he desires of you, you're supposed to serve it to him. That's what woman means, serve a man, all right? And this is what Eve was doing in the Garden of Eden, but the serpent, the so-called white man, deceived her, all right? And she was deceived, and it brought death into the world, okay? And so the Lord has a remnant of Israel, male and female, and less males than females, because the men are supposed to have multiple women. All right. Now, it's prophesied in Isaiah 4:1, and in that day, which we're in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. So we'll be women and serve you. They'll cook for you. They'll wear the clothes that are woman-like, meaning being in dresses. It says, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. The shame is not having a man. And the women that have men, they're going to lose their men in the wars. It tells you in 2nd Ezra 16 and 33. It says, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms, because women are supposed to, biblically, they're supposed to be married when they have their first period, you know. It would be prearranged through the father, and she would be married to an older man, because he would have the resources and the mental capabilities of dealing with that woman. All right, but now they allow women to sleep around, lose their virginity, and they lose their virtue, and they just become monsters. And these single moms, they're raising monsters, which the children, you know, without a dad, male or female, they're monsters. All right? So Yahweh is sending judgment upon the earth to cleanse the earth of the wicked and the wickedness that is committed on the earth by all these different nations, even the nation of Israel. That's why 2/3 are going to be in that lake of fire with Edom. It says, the virgins shall mourn having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. Your whole purpose was to marry a man and to bear him children, to serve him. And that's your salvation. That's your purpose. That's literally your whole, you know, existence. You're soft. You're supposed to be sweet smelling, good looking, right? For what? For a man's pleasure, so that he would want to put his seed inside you and make children with you, which would guarantee you a place in the world until you die. And honor, because you become a mother, then a grandmother, right? There's honor in being a wife that you can't find in the job place. In the job, you find dishonor. Why? Because usually these women are sleeping around with different men, or they're selling their soul for prosperity, right? Which I just saw. I shared an article about a woman that was in the adult industry, and she's broke, homeless. She said it's just a trap. You see, so these women been deceived by the serpent. The serpent being that so-called white race, the red devil the Bible speaks of, Edom, Esau, Edom. All right, and they have no husbands. They don't. If a man had multiple wives and say he died, they would have each other to comfort each other, being not sexually, because that's against the law, being with the same sex, but being that you're not alone. You know, a lot of these women are alone, and they're in the house all by themselves with their demons. And if they have a child, they put those demons on that child. There's no man to correct or to put a woman in her place or even to discipline the child in a home. So this world is very wicked with the wicked ruling. He has corrupted the whole earth, and we are at the end of his reign of terror, and things are going to be put back in order where the woman realizes she needs a man. All right, and how's that going to happen is the earth is going to become very violent. And even these women that have men, all right, a lot of them are going to lose their men in war. They're either going to be shot down in the streets of Babylon the Great, in the war, in the famines, all right, or be sent off to war in a different country, all right, and die there. They're going to get sick and die. All right? A lot of death is on the earth. It's only going to increase. Natural disasters, which are plagues being sent from the Lord. It says in verse 34, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. See, famine is going to get a lot of men, women, and children. All right? It says, hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord, which we understand. This is why this popped out to me right here. This article of a 33-year-old woman quits job to become traditional wife because she's realizing there's no prosperity here. Because women, they're able to identify power. All right. So she knew that there was no power in her going to work anymore. The power rested in her being with her children and under her husband. Without informing her husband first, now he's threatening divorce because now it made him poor. See? And that's where men got to understand, you know, that there's no more prosperity here. There's no more prosperity. So the way you used to look at things like, oh, I need to be able to support this woman to to have this woman, it ain't like that no more. It ain't going to be like that no more because we're coming into a new world order, and it's really going to go back to the ancient way, which the ancient way was women needed men to survive. All right? Women can't even do certain things that men can. In this wicked society, all right, they teach the woman, they'll even put a woman in the military and give her false dreams that she could fight in war. But really, all they are is sleeping bags. Everybody's sleeping in them. You see? So really, the woman was created for one purpose, and that was to comfort a man. Not to fight a war, all right? Not to push the plow, not to build houses, right? Not to do none of these things, but to lay in the sheets and be sweet, smelling, soft, beautiful for her man. Loyal, faithful, clean, right? But once again, this wicked society has corrupted the whole earth. But now you got Israelites waking up, and even the heathen, to this place and its collapse, its weakness. All right? And it's only going to cause them to go to the elect for answers. Because I heard another woman on another video I shared, she was saying that they have no answers. They're looking for answers, but they can't find no answers. The only ones that have the answers are the elect, according to the prophecies. All right, we're the one that bear the light. So eventually they all have to come to us, like at night with the light on, you get all the bugs to come to that light. That's the same thing that's happening now. And that's why Esau's upset. Because really, he's causing them to look for answers because of his pride. And he's troubling the cities. And it's only going to make everyone know that there's a prophet amongst them. Because everything we're saying is coming to pass. Because we have a sure word of prophecy. This is the word of Yahweh. And we speak by the Holy Spirit of Yahweh Shai, which testifies of Yahweh Shai. Isaiah 4:2, in that day shall the branch, the men of Yahweh, Israelite men, that Yahweh is dealing with through his son Yahweh Shai by the Holy Spirit, be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Escaped what? Escaped that second death, the nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, he endureth to the end, and he that remaineth in Jerusalem, being that we're in this truth, shall be called holy. We have the spirit of New Jerusalem upon us, that we're waiting for Yahweh's son, Yahweh Shai, to take us back, as he promised us. Even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, which were being washed by the word of Yahweh, speaking of his son Yahweh Shai, which were repenting and returning to our rightful lots. Men being men and leading our people in the worship of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and the women returning to that rightful lot of being a wife, traditional wife, not having all kinds of relationships outside of dealing with her husband, and her husband having multiple women. That's the community that women lack in this wicked-ass society, that they try to find in the bar, in the college, in these counterfeit churches, all right? And shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning, which the ones that don't get it, they're going to be in the lake of fire because they're going to accept the implantable microchip. They're going to go down to Egypt for help. All right? Isaiah 30, I think it's 31, yep. And 1, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. Which the way the women seek Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai is through a man of the Lord. All right, that's why it says in Isaiah 13, he's going to make a man more precious than fine gold. It says, verse 11, and I will punish the world for their evil. That's why he's sending plagues upon the earth. And the wicked for their iniquity, their immoral behavior that has corrupted the whole earth. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, which he's taking authority away from the heathen, starting with that so-called white race. That's why you hear about their women wanting a divorce, because they're losing power. And will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. He's going to destroy the kingdom of Edom. Babylon the Great. I will make a man more precious than fine gold. This is an Israelite man, a man of the Lord, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So he's going to give us power to endure, whether it's life or death. And women, they're drawn to power. All right? And they're going to realize the power they have is being married to a man of the Lord. So that's what they're going to do. All right? But the men, all right, we have to understand that we rule through judgment, righteous judgment. All right? So Isaiah 32, verse 1, behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. All right? So we're not supposed to be under the woman. We rule over the woman. We're the head of the woman. All right? And the woman is to be in submission to your will. All right? And that's the way the Lord created it. That's the correct order. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, Yahushai, and the head of the woman is the man. So the woman is supposed to submit to the man. That's why the name in the Hebrew for girl is Yalada, which means he, Yah, La, leads, Da, door, Ha, pray. So a girl, all right, a real female woman, a female servant, all right, is going to be led by a man, first by her dad and then by her husband. And the man is what? To teach that woman to serve the Lord, which he is her Lord. That's why Sarah called Abraham Lord. This is why Eve called Adam Lord, because the woman is saved through the man. He is the Lord over the woman, and the woman is a possession to the man. All right? Now, the woman is given the spirit to try to overcome you, but you have to overcome her. Okay? Genesis 3, verse 16, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, which the woman suffers pain when she, loses her virginity, when she gives birth, when she has her period. And thy conception, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. And that's because through the woman came death. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Which, what this means is she wants to rule over the husband. All right? But he must rule over thee. NLT version. Then he said to the woman, I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth. And you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you. And that's how you know the wicked are ruling. The wicked do what? They put women over the men. Isaiah 3, verse 12, as for my people, children, meaning the rulers of this world, are wicked and they act like children. They throw tantrums because they don't win Nobel Peace Prizes. Are their oppressors, they oppress us. And women rule over them. They put women in positions of power over us. So these women are proud and they think that they don't need a man. They think they could rule over a man. They think they could be like a man and have multiple sex partners, which they get problems from that behavior because they weren't created to have different men put their semen in them. All right. The woman was created for one man, and a man was created to have many women and to put much seed in the women, which he needs many women to bring forth many children. All right. It says, O my people, they which led thee caused thee to err. They taught you of false doctrines, like a woman don't need a man, or a man only needs one woman, and destroy the way of thy paths, which they caused you to forget that you're an Israelite, and we were created to have many women, to produce many children. They try to erase the purpose of a woman and give her an alternative, which is wicked. And this is why the wicked's kingdom is going to be destroyed. Malachi chapter 4, verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son, Yahushai, of righteousness, the Son of righteousness, arise with healing in his wings, which starts with us receiving the Holy Spirit to comfort us, which converts us by the word, and it leads us to the salvation which comes through Yahushai, which he promised us. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall, which we will get the victory over the wicked. And ye shall tread down the wicked, we will overcome him in the righteousness of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. For they shall be ashes under the soles of the feet of your feet. In the day that I shall do this, saith Yahweh of hosts, remember ye the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgments. And this is where the men's mind are supposed to be, is remembering Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and remembering themselves as Israelites. And the women that remember, they're supposed to cleave to a man. And even these women that have husband, right? You're not supposed to divorce your husband and look for a new man, but you're to submit to your husband. All right, that's the whole purpose of a woman. If you want to be loyal to the Lord, all right, you got to submit to a man, and your best option is a man in the Lord. But if you're already married, unless the unbeliever, divorces you, your loyalty is the commitment to your man, to serve that man, serving the Lord, your Lord. All right. With that, I give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Ha Rekakudash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule Great Millstone well, and shalom to the elect. Wa Abababal.